Sup, UFS? It's your boy Paynus, or Magnus, or Scott. Gonna run down my PTC experience and then talk about what Worlds is gonna be like in this weekend. I took Kill 1 dot to this PTC, not expecting to win. Well, at least not if I played Kim or Natalie, which I ended up not having to play against. I managed to get to second and pretty much scrubbed out there. Probably would have got first, but yeah, first time using this deck in actual cardboard. Didn't play it to the fullest, at least not at the end there. But anyways, it plays. The list is posted in the deck building in the top 8 for Game Castle PTC. It wins with 100 Shiki Oniyaki. I think that's pretty much like if I did not play that attack in a given turn, then I did not win that game. So yeah, pretty much my only win con, except unless I played a bunch of other attacks that same turn, and that's the only thing they blocked. And yeah, highlight of the deck is 4 Sweet Nothings, 4 Skull Barrier, get a bunch of momentum to fuel them. Play Destined Warrior to either put more barriers in the pool or to put Assassination Attempt in the pool to pay for Skull Barrier and Sweet Nothings if I didn't have the momentum. And it works pretty good, except when the other deck can discard your whole momentum for free, which is what Kim does, or Natalie, who can burn me for 2 for every momentum I have, which is usually like 5 by the end of the game. So yeah, didn't want to fight either of those decks. Didn't really want to fight Napalm Man either. But that was my first matchup, was against Danny playing Napalm Man. I got kind of gypped though. Like game 1, I remember I think he burned me a little bit on turn 2, and turn 3 I basically had everything. Well, not everything, but I had 2 momentum and a Skull Barrier in hand. So on his turn 3, he played like Hyper Bomb. I blocked Skull Barrier. He played Finale Rosso, and he had 1 momentum from the last turn. So yeah, that's 18 damage. But so obviously I canceled that shit with Skull Barrier. But then he had another one, and I looked at his deck list. He has 3 Finale Rossos. So his his Skull Man, or no, his Napalm Man drew 2 of those on turn 3. Yeah, that sucked. Anyways, next game he turn 2'd me. I went first. His turn 1 was play Spiders, play Blaze Whip. I didn't have the low block. It got a momentum. Next turn he played some other, I think he played maybe another Blaze Whip, and then another Finale Rosso, which did its full damage to me, which is 18. Holy shit. Yeah, so that was exactly, put me exactly 0. That sucked. So next game I played, I think next game was Water Cut Man. No. Next game was against Water Lilith, a deck that I helped build. It was a newer player, and the whole game I was thinking to myself, oh, I'm gonna get completely I would be getting wrecked right now if it was like a experienced player playing this deck. Like that's another matchup. Like any deck that goes fast, Kyo probably loses to it, because he needs like momentum like on turn 2 to like use his stuff, unless they only play like mid attacks. Then I can like block with Skull Barrier, and Yami Barai is the exception. But anyways, yeah, I only won that match because it was a newer player. I probably would have lost that if it was an experienced player playing Water Lilith. Next game was against Water Cut Man, played by Kodiak Zero. His deck shat on him because his deck was a natural counter to mine. Since my only win condition is putting a bunch of speed and damage on Shiki Oniyaki, he basically stacks +3 to his next block, so I couldn't get it off, and I just one out of him not drawing attacks the whole game pretty much. Well, I didn't win it. We tied. We drew that. So my record was 1-1-1 after that. Fourth game against Void, what's his name? Void Duo. Playing a lot of speed and a lot of damage and like Slaughter Horse and Maxima Laser and Dark Laser. A lot of big attacks, a lot of speed. He played that one Mega Man asset that gives speed. That one Airman asset that gives speed. So his attacks were like 10 speed a lot of the time. Combined with the promo that gives your mid attack plus 1 speed. And again, I only won that game because my opponent kind of got shat on by his deck. I consistently didn't have the Sweet Nothings and the Skull Bears that game to like stop a full on attack. But he didn't have the attacks either. So I ended up winning. That was a close game too. Made it. So it was only 4 rounds of Swiss. So I was 2-1-1, and there was only 15 people in the event, and it was cut to top 8. So more than half the people in the event got to top 8. So basically, if it was a scaled up event, I probably would not have even made top with this deck. Which it's usually true. Usually when you play thinky decks, they're really good in top 8 when you have all the time in the world. Not that good in bottom cuts where you have to feel out your opponent, but you can't really afford to like lose the first round. And also I basically lose round 1 to Natali and Kim. And in this case, Napalm Man. But yeah. Top 8. First game was against new player David playing Chaos Sienko, and there were a lot of Chaos decks. I think there were at least 3 in top 8. So Chaos Sienko playing a basically a not broken deck that managed to get 3rd place in Swiss. Pretty tight. It's like the least broken gimmicky deck that made top 8. Like all it does is like, do innocent things like stack the deck twice a turn with her form, get free foundations that aren't unique. Yeah, but yeah, if a deck is too slow and it can't turn off my Skull Bears and Sweet Nothings, then pretty much free win for me, which is what happened. Next round of top 8 was against, let's see who. Oh yeah, Iari Melchior playing Life Turbo Man. I think since Turbo Man can't like stun me out, and I have a bunch of +0 mid blocks in my deck, he basically can't like kill me on turn 2 like he usually does in Swiss to everyone else. So I ended up managing to like survive turn 2 during those games because I had a Skull Bear or a Shiki Oni Yami Burai in my hand and blocked his mid attacks, and he didn't draw any crazy turns where he plays like 3 Scorch Wheels on turn 2 or 3. He just wasn't drawing the Scorch Wheels. He was drawing like Turbo, but that's a mid attack, so I can easily fully block that with my +0 mid blocks. And by the time it was like turn 4, and I had a bunch of Sweet Nothings, Skull Bears in my momentum, and means of blocking with those Skull Bears for my momentum. So like on our final game, or one of our games, maybe not the final one, I blocked 3 times in a row, fully blocked 3 attacks with Skull Barrier, and had 6 momentum. That's how crazy that I walled up that game. And then on the final game, he checked a 1 for his first foundation and failed it. So yeah, kind of got shat on there. So yeah, hopefully I'll get the team with Iari though. And if I go to the Nats, Final game against Jeremy. Playing mature. Yeah, that was a scary game. He goes balls deep on turn 2. Playing big. He plays like Raikou. Was surprised to see that in game 1. Tap out my Felicity House, so I couldn't block with my shit and my momentum. That sucked. I think I lost game 1 to him blowing me up. Oh, and he won the die roll, by the way. That makes a lot of difference in this game. He won the die roll. Blew me up turn 1. Turn 2, we started siding, and I sided in 3 out of my 4 determinations just because I thought he might have the death rows that he was siding in. Wasn't sure. I only sided in 3, and then he did have death row, and he did discard my whole momentum that game. But I won that game. I think I won. I think he won round 1, and I won round 2, even though he discarded my whole momentum. And round 3, it ended up being a really grindy match. Went really long. And I used Sweet Nothings like twice because I was like not remembering what was in my momentum. Because I always remember where the skull berries are, because that's like my bread and butter. But I forgot to like make a mental note of where my Yami Barais were, because I had them. And it screwed me. Probably would have won that. I don't think he had any more attacks on the turn that he killed me, and I ended up blocking with an Oniyaki instead and failing it. Yeah. Well, yeah, so whatever. He drove from Arizona to get there, so it's okay. It's okay that he got the win. But yeah, if I could change my list, if I was going to play it again, which I probably wouldn't, because I don't want to auto lose to Natalie and Kim. Pretty much is 4 copies of Oniyaki main board. I only played 3 because I wanted it too many games. I wanted to have another one. I think it went too long because I didn't draw it, or because I was at like 2 life, so I couldn't like pick him up with Hikeshu of Death or something like that. What else? Yeah, if I had actually like spent a lot of time on my sideboard and put in a simpler request, I probably also would have won that mature match. And now that I think about it, I'd probably also have a much easier time with Kim and Natalie. And yeah. Anyways, so going to Worlds, there's like no top deck to like win with. It's a really healthy format. There's a lot of rock, paper, scissors action going on. I personally think the top 4 decks are Natalie, Kim, Andy, Napalm Man. They're like the top 4 like gimmicky decks that do something really good that you have to like prepare for or lose to. And they all kind of rock, paper, scissors each other. Like Napalm Man like loses hard to Natalie because she doesn't care about foundations, but then again Napalm also loses to like Andy and probably Kim if he's done right. And let's see, Natalie like beats like almost everything and then like loses to like Andy because, you know, if Natalie wants to like play an attack for free at the end of her turn, it's only going to do 1 damage and she's going to lose a foundation pretty much because it's Andy. That's what he does. A lot of different decks to play at Worlds. There's not like one that's like best to play. That's why this game is probably like better than the next card game. A lot of balancing going on there. Yeah, but yeah, I probably wouldn't want to take Kyo again, even though he's really fun, but too risky. Might like not make it to top 8 because he's too much thinking, not enough gimmick, like the top 4 decks are. And yeah, so pretty cool little Worlds we're gonna have this weekend. Yeah, go fuck yourself, Jeremy. You got lucky, little bitch.